Super interesting article, and well worth a read, so you can actually see the results and the.
This episode is made possible by OIT VoIP. Find your best-in-class revenue generation for MSPs all over the world. Learn more via the link in the show notes.
Good morning and welcome to the October 25th episode of MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary in the MSP channel. I'm Josh Hohbein, joined today by my host, Millie the cat here, and also the wonderful Don Sizer. How are you, Don? Do you want to give a little bit of an introduction since this is your first time on the channel?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, thank you for having me. This is awesome. So, I am Dawn Sizer. I'm the CEO of Third Element Consulting. We're an MSP out of South Central Pennsylvania with offices in Houston and a new one coming up in Atlanta. So, that's a little bit about who we are. Other than that, one of the co founders of the Tech Degenerates.
Awesome, which is one of the best tech communities out there for sure. All right, well, let's get into the news here and see what we have going on for this week. Our first story coming to us from Business Wire, Cohesity enhances Gen AI capabilities with advanced visualization tool and expanded data sources for Cohesity Gaia. Cohesity has introduced a new visual data exploration tool for its AI-powered assistant, Cohesity Gaia, enhancing data insights. This feature helps users categorize themes within documents, offering visual context and suggesting queries for faster data exploration. As unstructured data dominates corporate data, traditional methods often lead to incomplete insights. Gaia addresses this by using generative AI to analyze various formats like emails and PDFs, improving data understanding and access. This tool simplifies searches by visually sorting topics and allowing users to ask intelligent, context-aware questions. Additionally, Cohesity expanded support for new workloads and data sources like SharePoint and NAS, enhancing accessibility across enterprise systems. Well, all of that sounds absolutely fantastic. Are you using any sort of AI in your day-to-day that does something like this?
I don't do anything that has, we're using Copilot, we're using some other pieces, parts, and I've seen what some of the image files that AI creates with six fingers and, multiple arms that shouldn't be there. So I'm imagining what that data set's going to look like in a chart or a graph. I completely understand that it actually has data points to go off of, but I'm not anticipating it being fantastic right out of the gate.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of a create your own knowledge base. If you've ever used SharePoint search, it's definitely not the greatest. So if it can be used to generate kind of a build your own corporate KB or kind of a SharePoint intranet, then I definitely think it's a step in the right direction. So interesting use case. I do like it. I think the use case is niche at this point. I don't know how many organizations, SMBs or MSPs potentially be using it for. Kind of seems more of the enterprise space, but as all things with AI and how they improve, it looks cool, and we'll keep an eye on it.
I think it's all in the, as you're prompting it, what you're asking it, how it's structured, right? Makes a big difference in the result set that you get back. So I think it's more a matter of, does it understand what you're asking it? But the flip side to that is, you have to be really careful with data leak.
Definitely make sure that you are aware of your data and do those super fun data flow diagrams or have some sort of AI readiness. Well, speaking of using things responsibly, I think your story here has some cleaning up to do or some sort of flaw they need to fix. You want to tell us about that?
All right, severe flaws in E2EE cloud storage platforms have been used by millions. So, Zurich researchers uncovered severe vulnerabilities in 5 popular end-to-end encrypted cloud storage platforms. That sounds terrible, including Sync, pCloud, IceDrive, cFile, Trezorate, and they have affected over 22 million users. These platforms, despite marketing claims, had significant flaws like unauthenticated key material and encryption issues, allowing attackers to inject files, tamper with data, or access user information. While Trezorate showed fewer direct vulnerabilities, others faced more serious flaws. Vendor responses varied. IceDrive opted not to address the issues, while cFile plans future patches. Sync and pCloud have started addressing the concerns, and Trezor emphasized ongoing security improvements. Despite the flaws, no evidence suggests these vulnerabilities have been exploited. So I guess that's the good news in all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, this is kind of where I think at this point, especially as part of the backup, your 3-2-1 backup structure, everyone is using some sort of cloud backup system. So, what are some steps that you take to consider before choosing which cloud backup that you're using?
Everything from ease of use to how they function, how they can be stored, how we can access them or not access them, depending on the situation. We actually have them a little air gap from ourselves at times as well, because obviously we don't want to be a point of attack. There's all different ways, I think, of looking at how you do the backups, but I don't understand how anybody could buy into a system not understanding it, not doing your due diligence, and not testing it and ending up in that situation.
Definitely agreed. I mean, it should be part of your vendor due diligence process, asking, what sort of framework, if they're SOC 2, Type 2, or high trust, or whatever regulatory compliance security documents they have, or even just having the assessment questions. I think I've said it before, like I will never, judge somebody on a vulnerability or a security incident because it can happen to anybody. But what I will judge on is how they respond, how they recover, and what they do in the future to these sort of things. So, super interesting article, and well worth a read, so you can actually see the results and the types of attack vectors, things, and used in the full statements. So, definitely recommend checking out the full article in this case. Outside of that, we got a few community events that we'll let you guys know about. Currently, right now, there's an ongoing event in person right now in Franklin, Tennessee, called the Producers Club. That's going from October 24th to the 25th. We also have an in-person event in Miami Beach, Florida, DatoCon, going from October 28th to October 30th. And then November 6th to November 8th, we have an in-person event, IT Nation Connect in Orlando, Florida. So seems like everything's happening in Florida coming up. Are you going to be at any of those, Don?
I will be at IT Nation Connect.
I unfortunately will not be able to make it this year, but definitely make sure you go say hi to Don there. And also, if you'd like to go check out our MMN Discord, which will have the QR code below, there we go, perfect, right
Yes.
there. You can post your stories throughout the week if you'd like us to comment them or bring them on the show, and please leave your feedback. With that, Don, thanks for coming on to this episode, and thanks for bringing the news. Any last
Absolutely. Thank
closing
you so
words or
much.
anything that you would like to anything you'd like to plug?
Thank you so much for having me. And by all accounts, do your vendor due diligence, because just because somebody has some great marketing fluff does not mean that's what they're actually doing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, with that, then we will see you guys later. Thank you and stay safe.
If you found this episode eye-opening, catch more MSP Dispatch at 10 a.m. throughout the week. Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.